Hi everyone, my name is Nick Dodson, and I'm here to go over my strength-based leadership project and go over the results that I had come up with. So my strengths were competition, strategic, realtor, significance, and communication. Um, and my strengths were pretty much what I thought they would be. Um, my domain key was executing, influencing, relationship building, strategic thinking. So I'm going to break those down into my actual five strengths. So we're going to start with competition. So for competition, it says people exceptionally talented in the competition theme measure their progress against the performance of others. They strive to win first place and revel in contests. So the domain I picked for that was influencing. And for me, in competition, we tend to bring out the best in each other um, as we bring out in ourselves. And so for me, just being a former athlete and a coach and the competitive nature that I have, I utilize my competition uh, strength by influencing others around me. So I do that as a coach as well. So I influence my student athletes to strive for academic and athletic excellence, and I do that in a competitive nature, especially for our track and field athletes that are trying to travel and make it to the national championships. I pick up the competition by saying, we're only going to take the top three in each event this week. So you can't make the bus unless you do X, Y, and Z. So I feel like with being able to do that and doing it in some sort of a positive manner, I'm able to bring out the best in them. And so I feel like doing that, it really influences them to take their talents to the highest level. Same with academic excellence. So if you have a certain GPA, we'll reward you with a new pair of tights or a new pair of shoes or etc. It gives them something to strive for. So I picked influencing domain for my first strength was competition. For competition manifested. So, as a person in charge, I want to lead by example and show my team what healthy competition is like. Integrity and sportsmanship is huge in competition and defines who you are during and after the results are complete. I want our competitors to see who we are as people. That is why I lead differently. So for me, being able to lead by example is to give show my student athletes, the family atmosphere that we have. So I have my kids and my wife come out to practice a lot, and they also see that competitive nature in me because I had it as an athlete. Being inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, my student athletes are being able to see that. So it gives them some sort of example, and so I want to be able to have that for them to see, and I continue to progress forward myself and get better so that I can bring out the max in them. So my next strength was for strategic. So people exceptionally talented in strategic theme create alternative ways to proceed. Faced with any given scenario, they can quickly spot their relevant patterns and issues. So for the domain for that, I picked strategic thinking. Strategic is huge in all walks of life. Being able to be prepared or adjust on the go can show how versatile a person is. This can be shown in athletics and in the corporate world. Preparation is the key to success. Uh, and so my strategic manifested, being a coach has really increased my strategic thinking, especially when it comes to training. I have to adjust my training each day to fit my student athletes because we have many different events. Not only do we have many different events, we have many different personalities. We also have many different athletes who have many different strengths and weaknesses. So being able to do this effectively puts me in a better position to make sure they meet their goals. Also, working with over 80 athletes with many different personalities, it helps me strategize the approach with all of them. So that is really the key for me, being able to be strategic, and so that's how I'll be able to do that manifested. And so once again, the domain for that was strategic thinking. Moving forward, my next strength was realtor. People exceptionally talented in realtor theme enjoy close relationships with others. They find deep satisfaction in working hard with friends to achieve a goal. So the domain I picked for that was relationship building. Winning in a team setting just feels different. The journey to the top has a rush, and memories looking back on it are priceless. The process is most remembered by the relationships developed throughout the process. That is why the process is more enjoyable than the result in some cases. So I tell my student athletes all the time, for me, I enjoy the process more than the result, because the process is where you create majority of the memories, even all the good, all the bad, all the adversity, all the success. And so that's kind of how, I am with that. And so for my Realtor Manifested, as a coach, I go out of my way to get to know my athletes personally so I can understand how they got to where they are. Being able to talk to them about more than athletics shows them how much I really care. This makes discipline so much easier when that time comes, because they know it's genuine. Developing a great off the field relationship with my athletes brings easier on the field success. So that's where I was with Realtor Manifested. And once again, the domain with that was relationship building. So my next strength was significance. People exceptionally talented in the significance theme want to make a big impact. They are independent and prioritize projects based on how much influence they will have on their organization or the people around them. My domain I picked for that was executing. Significance can be very normal for people who are used to juggling many different projects themselves. Knowing that you are in charge and responsible for the completion of a task can be fuel to the fire for some. So my significance manifested since 2012. I have always been short on staff members within my programs. I have been the head coach, the recruiting coordinator, director of operations, and much more. I'm very comfortable with handling many different tasks and sometimes content with it being that way. I believe if I'm in charge, I know the job got done and it got done correctly. So even if I made mistakes with getting the job done, I know if I did it, it got done. And so since I have moved on to Southeastern, I have a much bigger staff now. I had to get used to being able to give off tasks to other people and trust that it gets done. And so far, it's been really good. But I've always been so used to being able to do everything myself. And I feel like this is the reason why that came up in my results, because I've always have done it that way. And so once again, my strength there was significance, and the domain for significance was executing. And so my next strength was communication. This is not surprising because I was a communication major in undergrad. So people exceptionally talented in communication theme generally find it easy to put their thoughts into words. They are good conversationalists and presenters. So the domain for that was influencing. That's what I chose. Communication is the key to success, but of course, you have so many forms of communication. Being able to use different forms of communication with people, depending on their personalities, can decide how well a relationship will go with that person. So, my communication manifested. My level of communication with my team plays a major role in how successful we are. I have to look at the overall energy of our team each day while leading so that I know the right things to say. This is important because we have many strengths and weaknesses amongst our athletes. I use email, text, team app, and much more to get my message to all my athletes. With the many different personalities that we have with 80 different student athletes, I feel that the communication has to be key. And being able to do that will put us in position to be successful, whether it's in the classroom, on the track, in the community. Those are huge, and being able to communicate, it will separate us from everyone else. And so not and that's in a positive manner, being able to communicate to them about life and etc. But being able to also see that the majority of my team never checks their email, we had to find other ways to communicate with them to be able to make sure that our message got across to everyone. And so we created a thing. We didn't create it, but we started a thing with it's called the Band app. And so the Band app looks more like social media, like Facebook, Instagram, etc. So I will send out a message to everyone. I can also see who read the message. I send it out. It looks like Facebook. Anybody can comment on it, etc. I know they'll check that because it comes to their phone just like a notification, and I'll be able to get any message I want to any part of the day. And so this worked out really well for us. We're in our second year with Band, and so we're continuing to move forward and find even more ways to be able to communicate more effectively with our student athletes. So my final thoughts, I agree 100% on my results, as the skills I use each day at work was shown in my results as well. With the results, I feel I was able to learn even more about myself as I continue to look for ways to strengthen my strengths so that my athletes are in a better position to be successful. So that is the overall key for me there, and I was glad I was able to do this, and I learned a lot. So I appreciate it.